We're about to mark the 100th day of the Trump presidency. With that is a lot of pomp and circumstances, including a Disney Plus Hulu special that ABC News has produced that will be on tomorrow night, available on all these streaming services, one-on-one interviews, as President Trump has taken a lot of these. But a lot of people also woke up to the lines of the driveways to the White House covered in signs. These signs, basically mugshots of all of the different people that have been arrested that were here illegally. And these are people who had incredibly violent pasts. These are not just people who were here illegally. These are people who have, a lot of them even committed murder.
That's right. So this was 100-yard signs that had the mugshots of individuals that were taken off the streets and what they were described as the worst of the worst by the administration. And not only did they put up this theatrical show for everyone where it shows what the criminal offense was and that they were arrested, but there was a surprise early morning press briefing from Karoline Leavitt, the press secretary at the White House. This is very unusual to have an early morning press briefing.
Yeah, before most of you probably were awake or at work, this was happening.
And this was with Tom Homan, and it was to highlight the success of the actions taken by the Trump administration on the border. And we'll play a clip here. Yeah. This is her opening line from this press briefing.
And again, this was just this morning. So this has just happened. This is all breaking news items happening right now.
Today, we kick off 100-day week with a focus on the president's historic effort to secure our southern border. Later this afternoon, President Trump will sign an executive order on law and order and another executive order on sanctuary cities. The first EO will strengthen and unleash America's law enforcement to pursue criminals and protect innocent citizens. The second EO is centered around protecting American communities from criminal aliens, and it will direct the Attorney General and Secretary of Homeland Security to publish a list of state and local jurisdictions that obstruct the enforcement of federal immigration laws. After these are signed, the president will have signed more than 140 executive orders already, rapidly approaching the total number signed by the Biden administration over the course of 4 years in office.
President Trump, interestingly, taking these interviews, spending time with it. He talked about it last week with Goldberg.
Yeah, with The Atlantic.
From The Atlantic, that he's going to take some of these maybe more, less friendly, I should say, interviews. So we'll see that tomorrow. And then, of course, a lot of it is focused on immigration, where there has been some, what you'd say, success. Even Bernie Sanders a few weeks ago said, hey, I don't agree with President Trump on many things, but I do on the border. I think we have that bite. We can play that. Let's take a listen to Bernie Sanders.
Is there anything that you think Trump has done right?
Yeah, I think cracking down on fentanyl, making sure our borders are stronger. Look, nobody thinks that illegal immigration is appropriate.
So, that's coming from, again, Bernie Sanders. Phone lines are open for you. What do you think? Obviously, we know you probably are for a stricter immigration policy, as we had such an open border problem going on for the last 4 or 5 years. But what about right now? What about when you see it actually happening? Look, there's a lot of people on here. I know that you are good, sweet people. You're Christian people who see maybe some of this and go, I don't know, where's that line? Where's that line between humanitarian? Where's the humanitarian part play into? And where does the securing the border play into? Where is it dehumanizing? Is it dehumanizing by lining the White House? Or is it just even too much in terms of a show when we still have so many issues going on in the country? That is sometimes where my initial gut feeling is, that I kind of have to take a second to think about it, because part of me goes, it's like when I see, police going after very, very, very small crime, or not even crime, just that pull over to check you out kind of thing, where I go, is this really what you need to be spending your time on? Is there not a better place to be putting your time? And of course, it's not a lot of time for them to print some signs and put them out there, but it does send a message, and I'm not sure how I feel about that message. What do you think?
But here's what's interesting, and also what plays into this as well, Logan, is that multiple polls came out about approval rating for the president, and these happen periodically where they're doing the overall approval rating, then they get into kind of the details. And so what we've got here is kind of a conflicting view of approval rating polls. Now, we may not care too much about polls in the American public, but the administration actually does pay attention to them, and politicians pay attention to them to know what they should go after, what they should talk about more, how they should frame things. And we have conflicting polling data about the immigration issue right now. A CBS poll that was conducted April 23rd through 25th, so this is just being released because it was just completed, has the Trump administration's program to deport immigrants illegally in the United States, 56% approval rating. Now, that's great. That sounds like, okay, his overall approval rating is lower. It's in the 40s. But on that issue, it seems like the American public generally, there's a majority of Americans that approve of this. But then you have a Washington Post poll in ABC News that came out Friday that has Trump with 53% disapproval. So the opposite, and 46% approving of how he's handling immigration. So there's a split there, almost identical mirror images of how these polls are conducted. And these aren't by one's a conservative organization that's getting, a different data set. These are both CBS and Washington Post, mainstream media conducting these polls with their polling partners. And it shows a majority of Americans are definitely liking what the policies are. And the other shows that a majority of Americans definitely disapprove of it. So conflicting. That's why I think it's also interesting to take it to the audience here of our listeners and what do they think about this? Do they think that it is getting too theatrical and we need to see more work and proof of that work instead of just tweets that saying we did all this?
Yeah, exactly. Let's go to Jerry, who's calling in Rhode Island first, listening on the radio. Jerry, you're on the air.
Good morning, team. Being of your father's demographic, former law enforcement, every department has a UCR report. They report the status. For the regards to what's lining the driveway, we want to see the progress of what we voted for. I do wish they had put what state these people were taken into because various states are blue. And remember, who takes a poll? Most people in my demographic, unless we know who's taking the poll and how it's going to be manipulated, we don't answer it. So
yeah, I don't answer those polls too, Jerry, when they come in. I'll be honest. When they come in, I usually think I'm getting some sort of scam, so I don't do it as well. I'll hang up or I won't do it online.
And Jerry, actually, to your point, on the White House website, under their articles section, they have the entire list of who those mugshots are. In the first 100 days, Trump administration has taken killers off our streets. And it goes through and it says ICE Baltimore arrested this individual, ICE Buffalo, ICE El Paso, ICE Houston. So if you go through, you do see where they were, which team of ICE. It doesn't necessarily give the exact state if ICE Chicago was in one of the suburbs or something like that. But it's giving at least the region and most likely the state that they were taken into custody in. And many of them are in blue states. You see Buffalo, you see San Francisco, Chicago,
I think
Denver.
all of that is great. I think having a list and being able to see what's happening right now, I think that's great. The sort of, I guess you'd say, quote unquote, maybe tacky nature of doing the signage, I'm not so sure of. I don't know if it's becoming to the United States of America, if that feels like the right thing to do. And again, I know a lot of you are going, Logan, you're not, well, it's not about your heart. It's not about, well, I mean, somewhat it is. I think we have to make sure the American people are showcased in a way that represent us and make sure they represent us correctly. Yes, take care of crime, get rid of it, make sure that we're serious about the issues that are going on. And maybe that's why I have maybe somewhat of a little bit of an issue with this, because it feels a bit showy. It feels a bit, and look, President Trump's a showman. I understand that. I would consider myself a bit of a showman as well, a bit of a song and dance man. But in general, there are moments that feel like you just get this initial sort of, ick to it. And this kind of had that moment for me where I'm looking at it going, I don't know if I want this at the White House. But that's just me personally. I know a lot of you feel differently, and that's okay. Because I get the point. I get the point of showcasing, look what we've done. I don't know if this is the way to do it. Someone mentioned, and maybe it's a call, I have to look, like what about like a nationwide ad campaign or something like that? I kind of like that a little bit more. Almost the, the old billboards, like most wanted kind of billboards.
Right.
Like I like that saying, look
PSA
what we've done.
kind of style.
Yeah, look what we've done. Look what we've taken off streets. That to me is a bigger warning for the potential criminal than it is putting their face on a little placard outside the White House.
Which was done only for the media. Yeah. Because that is the entrance of the White House where the media walks through. And so the photos that are being taken, other than the ones released by the White House, are the ones that are taken by media, and they're showing them. And MSNBC blurred out these convicted criminals' faces on the mugshots. I don't think that they blurred out President Trump's photo of his mugshot when it was posted everywhere.
Of course not.
But they wanted to protect the privacy of convicted criminal illegal immigrants in the United States. But to your point as well, I think this is is more interesting that should be highlighted because really, yes, there is a problem with a large amount. Tom Homan said probably about 20 million illegal immigrants in the country. And the deportation is something that people voted for, but also just the stopping the flow of it. And this is Bite 11 from Tom Homan that really highlights how well they shut down the border. And I think that's really what people want to hear. Let's play Bite 11.
And finally, that was said earlier, on the first 100 days, what was actually January 20th to April 1st, last year, 184,000 illegal aliens were released into the United States. Under this administration, 9. 4 of them were material witnesses in a criminal investigation. We need them here to testify in a serious criminal trial. 4 was extreme medical condition. We couldn't return them because they were in such bad shape. And 1 was a humanitarian issue. This is unprecedented success. The border secure. President Trump saving lives.
I love that.
Right. And I think
Did a
that
great
should
job.
be
There was heart
focus.
in it. There was feeling. There was emotion. And it also proved the point of what they're doing. I am not saying I disagree with the methods they're even using. I think having this sort of show actually devalues the success. I think you need to focus on how important it is and make it serious that this is being done.
One other point that he brought up, too, was how many women and children are victims of assault and other things and trafficking, and that when you shut down 184,000 that are being let go once they get to the border, when you stop that, you're also protecting them. Yeah, you're also stopping crimes against women and children that are making this dangerous journey.
Yeah, you know how many people are getting saved. We are so excited to announce the ACLJ's brand new app, completely redesigned to provide you with the best tools available to partner with us at the ACLJ. You can watch the daily Seculo program, sign the petitions, customize your ACLJ membership experience, donate with the click of a button, and receive up-to-the-minute critical updates that the mainstream media can't censor. Just scan the QR code on your screen or go to your phone's app store, search ACLJ, and click install. It's that simple.